Hi all, by now you have hopefully looked through all the information related to the work breakdown structure. And I wanted to take this time to go over the instructions for the work breakdown structure a little bit further to make sure you understand all that I'm asking for you to do. You will be creating two work breakdown structures for this class, one for project number one, and then of course you'll also be creating a work breakdown structure for your final project, for your final implementation guide with your group. You can, if you decide to go with the 5K for your final implementation guide, you can absolutely use your same work breakdown structure if that is what your group decides. But what is a work breakdown structure? Well, first of all, we look at it from a very broad level. It's all the work that you have to do to accomplish your goals and objectives for your project. It's a very high level breakdown of every bit of work that has to be accomplished. And you can look through this. I've provided several videos on the module for work breakdown structures, but it's really a top-down breakdown of each work package until it is at the most basic level of having one task and one owner. This step, in addition to estimating the work, is essential to perform because it allows a prediction of how many hours effort of work a project or program will take to implement, as well as how much it will cost to implement. It will also help identify risks. A work breakdown structure is the very first step in creating your project schedule, which is that all-encompassing document of everything you have to do in order to accomplish the actual project, as well as the timeline. The work breakdown structure is not the same thing as the schedule. The work breakdown structure will not have who is in charge of the task. It will also not have any timeline around it. I am giving some specifics in terms of making sure that you have certain items on your work breakdown structure. You are doing this as an individual, not as a group. Excuse the type over right there, but you are doing this as an individual. At the very end, you and your group will have a different work breakdown structure, or you can choose to use your individual work breakdown structure. You must use either a graphical or an outline format, and I have defined that in your actual PowerPoint lessons. You can absolutely use a free online template. I'm going to show you a free resource here shortly. You absolutely have to include phases in your work breakdown structure. Your first phase will be planning, your second phase will be implementation, and your third phase will be post-implementation evaluation. Each phase will include all of the work, multiple tasks that should be completed during that specific phase. It should be specific to the phase of work that will be completed. You're going to look at the very lowest level of breakdown, and it should have one owner. Doesn't mean you're going to write that owner on the work breakdown structure, but one person should be able to do that task. So it is a breakdown. Oftentimes you have what are called work packages, such as marketing. Marketing might go under our planning phase. This is a very common work package that you would have under the planning phase. You would then break down marketing into individual tasks, and those would be subtasks. So you would break down marketing. If you can think about what all would go under marketing, social media would go under marketing. So creating Instagram posts for your actual race, right? So you've all chosen a philanthropy to include for your 5K, a reason to raise money for a specific cause. So if we were choosing St. Jude, right, you might have social media posts around St. Jude and running for a reason. You might also have under marketing, you might have someone who's creating flyers. You might have someone who's creating an email blast, right? The planned communications. All of that would go under marketing, and it would be under individualized tasks under that big subheading, that big work package of marketing. So we'll move on from there, and I'm going to, like I mentioned, I'll show you an actual template that is available to you for free online. You can see that once the work is broken down, you will use a bottom-up approach to estimate the time to complete each task. So in our marketing example, let's say you had 4 items. You had social media posts, you had planned communication, email blast, you had creating a flyer, creating posters or pamphlets for distribution. So all of those things would require time to complete. Let's estimate an hour for each of them. You would also create a buffer. So if you think something is going to take an hour, which those things would take much longer than an hour to, maybe devise your social media posts for all of, for the duration of the event, that would take a long time. But again, just for our example's sake, we're going to say an hour. So you would say an hour to an hour and a half. So you would add up all of those times. So that would be 3 hours, that would be 6 hours under marketing. And you would also give yourself a buffer there. So you might say 6 to 7 hours for marketing. So you can see you would report estimated time to complete in minutes and hours next to each task or subtask. And then you would report the total estimate of time of completion for each deliverable in hours next to each deliverable on the work breakdown structure. If a task was to take 6 hours and 15 minutes, you would report 6.25. So you will do this you will tally up all of the things that are under our planning phase, and you will tally up all the things that are under our implementation phase, and you will tally up all the things that are under post-implementation evaluation. And you will have a total duration for each particular phase as well as the total duration for the project. It's very important to estimate how long it will take because this is really going to guide budgeting. It is also going to have you be able to look at the entire project and see if additional help is needed. Is it realistic to accomplish this required work in the amount of time that we have promised to deliver this project? And what needs to be evaluated or maybe reassessed. It's very important to look at this so that you can give an accurate depiction of the work required to complete this project. Now let's look at an actual work breakdown structure. This is our graphical format. This is available online. You can absolutely look at this in terms of downloading it for free. It's under Smartsheet. You should be able to find the work breakdown structure, the work breakdown structure, and this is the graphical format. It gives a nice template up here. You can write the title, the project manager, company, date. Of course, all this is hypothetical, but I have already put down planning, implementation, post-implementation. These are obviously the same phase, but you might have multiple tasks under implementation. And then remember how I mentioned that we might have marketing over here, and then you would break down all of the tasks for marketing. Much of the planning, you may have more than this. You will probably have more subtasks in here for the planning phase, absolutely, and so you'll need to add to that. So I highly encourage you to maybe play around with this. You can always use the outline format if that is what you choose to use. You can absolutely come down here and we say marketing, and then you can come down and say social media posts. And I do want to make sure I emphasize this. You will need to make sure you create social media posts. You will need to put an action verb before each of your words, before each of your tasks, such as create flyer, right? Print pamphlets. Does that make sense? So you will be breaking down all of the tasks that you have for marketing. And again, your tasks are of course not limited to this template. Your tasks should be very specific to your project and the philanthropy you have chosen to raise money for. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please use all your resources to research the work breakdown structure. Make sure you're using your PowerPoints, the videos I've provided. This video, of course, review the instructions. Of course, email me if you have questions. I am absolutely available to my students. Make sure you think through the questions so that you get a firm understanding of what is required for this assignment. I know you'll all do really well. It just takes some time, and it is detailed. So make sure you do spend the appropriate amount of time on this assignment. I'm sure you'll all do really well, and I look forward to seeing your creative materials. Thanks.